Hello, fellow tacticians, and welcome back after what I apologize for being a decently long break between a little bit of technical issues with the last two videos we tried posting that didn't have audio. Hopefully we got that fixed, or I'm wasting my time right now. And just a little bit of work. We haven't really found ourselves the time to make some of these videos, but today is the video that I definitely promised for everyone. This is going to be the announcement giveaway video, plus we actually had a comment dropped in the channel that I feel was pretty beneficial to spin up for content ideas. So I'm going to drag that over here real quick. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. But anyway, lost the comment. There we go. From TimBoyKin6697, he says, "The Zero to Hero is a great content idea. Since you're being creative, I have a content idea for you. My guildmates that have none of the hard-to-get characters like Raw are constantly asking for alternate strategies, characters for guild raids. A good video would be, who is interchangeable for who, and what adjustments to strategies would have to be made if so." Fantastic comment and fantastic idea. I know I've talked a little bit about alternate characters to utilize in lieu of some of the main characters that you're going to be bringing for raids, so we'll absolutely tackle that in this video. But first, the moment you've all been waiting for. Let's go ahead and bring up the spinny wheel of decision making, and I want to do this on stream so everybody gets to see exactly how I decided. It is completely random, but let's go ahead and see who wins the giveaway. Wow. Okay, well, for the great comment, and because you commented and subscribed, TimBoyKin, please comment below on this video, and we'll go ahead and get in touch with you to give you your $25 reward. But with that being said, let's go ahead and hop into this content idea. So, let's take a look at the brand new baby account. Alright, so we have it pulled up here, and these are just 10 of the characters that you're almost guaranteed to get going through. Now you'll see I don't have added in just yet Mr. Eldrion. However, Eldrion I still believe has a guaranteed chance after your first couple wrecks to give you 80 shards. So you're most of the way there for Eldrion. Now, Eldrion is also available in the guild store, and if you don't have him, I recommend you do exactly what I'm doing now, and you dump all of your guild credits in to get him. He is going to be absolutely essential for guild raids. So with that being said, I'm not going to give you alternate recommendations for Eldrion, because he is going to be something, or a character that you're going to be bringing into Mortarion, Hive Tyrant, Gaz, and also Silent King. So boom, right there, automatically, 1/5 of your roster is automatically solved. Okay, now, let's start taking a look at some of the other characters that you're going to want to bring in. And mind you, I didn't construct a tier list, I just kind of want to talk to you about some of the things that make some of these characters very beneficial to bring in, right? You're going to have your summoning tier of characters, so you're going to have your Aleph Null, you're going to have your Bellator, you're going to have your Yarg. You're going to have your multi-hit characters. So the reason that Malgan Ra is so good is because he's a 6-hit character, but also, and I'll go ahead and pull some of these up so you're able to see what's going on here. Malgan Ra, right, is a 6-hit character, as you can see here with the 6 power hits, but also has a fantastic passive that allows him to pump out extra damage, and the synergies with Eldari. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to trump that, right? But to give you some options to consider. And then you're also going to have your lower hit characters too, right? So if you're not already aware, Mortarion, for example, any hits above 3, if you've killed both primes, gets reduced damage. So, you know, Malgan Ra right now, my Thad does more damage than my Malgan Ra on Mortarion. You know, and it's because it's a 3-hit here, and the damage is absolutely mental for that low of a hit. So, something to keep in mind. You're also going to have miscellaneous buffers that you're going to be bringing in. You have Athana here, who brings in Path of Command. You're going to have Helbrecht and stuff like that. But, you know, we're specifically looking here at characters that you are less likely to get. So, let's take a look at that mindset real quick. So, we talked about number 1 of 5, already solved. You already know what your one individual for the roster is going to be. Now, when it comes down to your multi-hitters, and your multi-hitters are going to be good for SK, Tyranids, and also Gas. Malgan Ra, of course, going to be number 1, going to be king, and I wish I had time to do the infographics for you and kind of give you the visualization, but number 1, Malgan Ra, right? Absolutely. Number 2, now here's where it gets a little bit weird, and I'm going to bounce back, sorry, to my main account. Honestly, we're going to throw Ravos up there. The 6 hits coming in is absolutely huge. You have Marker Light now being in the game, so you can bring another Tau to give Marker Light. But the big thing is Ravos is going to be huge for SK and Gaz because they have the mechanical traits, and this is going to deal an extra 191 damage at rank 42 per hit onto those bosses. So absolutely excellent to take in. If you don't have the mechanical trait, you can bring somebody with Marker Light and still get that effect. But when it comes down to availability, not so much. Ravos is one of those characters right now. You have to wait for an event, or you have to hope to get lucky. And then right below Ravos, I would put Volk. Volk is fantastic and is a little bit more easy to obtain because you're able to farm Volk out eventually via campaign. So if we go here, click Volk, if you unlock the Fall of Cadia campaign, you're able to start getting those shards. But it's a grind, right? You need 130 Volk shards, and you have a 33% chance to get them. So we could do the math on that. If you average about 3 shards a day, because that's your 33%, 130 divided by 3, you're looking at over a month and a half to get a character from absolute scratch once you unlock the node, and then doing it every single day. And mind you, that's 60 energy a day that you'd have to spend. Now, take or give a little bit here and there because, you know, that's just the average time it would take. Which can be a little bit painful because, as y'all may know, I am doing that exact thing on Celestine right now. So we're close. We're very close. But one of the big beneficial things right now, and I'm going to show you both my clean and my alternate tactics accounts, right? I was fortunate enough to get Volk on my alt account, right? But both my alt account and clean account have Immospec. Now, the reason Immospec is not as good as Volk is because of the passive here, right? The passive is kind of garbage when it comes down to damage dealing, whereas if you look at Volk here, you know, has a 30% chance to add extra damage, heavy round damage with 55% pierce ratio, plus 20 pierce ratio to every hit. So, Volk, going to be definitely a better multi-hitter than Immospec would be, for sure, right? But Immospec is decent, has 6 hits, right, on melee and range now, which is pretty nice. You don't have to be as cognizant of positioning. So, and also, you know, it's 60% pierce ratio compared to a baseline of, 55% pierce ratio. So, not a terrible option, right, if you have no other choice, for sure. So let's go ahead and get rid of that. Summoners. Real quick, Bellator is going to be a character that you get no matter what, and will still be in the highest echelons of performance for every boss sans Mortarion, right? Even Gaz, who, if you're familiar with Gaz, is kind of the anti-summoner boss, right? The more things that hit him, the faster he gets his 90% damage reduction. Well, you don't really care at the end of the battle. You drop Bellators and Scepters in, and you are absolutely shredding the boss for, 40,000 damage at higher levels on your last hit. And you're guaranteed to get Bellator. So, you can definitely see how that's going to be beneficial. For a lot of the raids, people have historically been bringing Yark, just because he's most people's strongest character. But, you also have other choices that you're almost guaranteed to get, right? Aleph Null, for example, is going to be absolutely critical for Mortarion because of the Scarab duplication. That's awesome to have, right? Archimados is great for a quick, turn and burn on a boss, right? So you get in there, you set up with Eldrion, you drop every single bloodletter that you can, and you can get a lot of damage out. So both of these characters are super obtainable. I think Aleph Null you get through either farming Indomitus, plus you get a decent chunk of shards coming into you just naturally. But with that being said, you know, you have Archie available from the Guild Raid store. Aleph can be farmed from that Indomitus campaign. And unfortunately, Yarick is just not really available. And that's fine. You don't need Yarick to be able to do these guild raids. Alright, so we talked about the summoner tier, right? For almost everything, you're good to take a summoner. So Mortarion, you're going to want Aleph Null. For literally everything else, you're going to want to bring Bellator. And Bellator comes as a given. You could also bring Archimatos for every single other raid, too. Just, I wouldn't bring it for Gaz. And mind you, all these characters are super obtainable, so you're good. You don't need crazy characters in the game. And one character that we didn't talk about as a perk is your anti-psyker, right? And your anti-psyker is going to be somebody like Roswitha. So let's pull up the main account again and take a look at our Roswitha, who just absolutely smacks both Tyranids and Mortarion because they're psychers. That's fine. You don't need it. It's beneficial. It's really nice. The damage is absolutely incredible. But all you need is another just strong hitter, right? And I'm going to do a shout out to one of my guildmates in Steve, who, you know, we're top 10 guild, and this man brings Vindicta to everything. And he absolutely slaps. He is doing great damage on Mortarion. He's doing great damage on a lot of the other bosses as well. And yeah, he brings Vindicta in. I think he's got a diamond Vindicta, and it just absolutely smacks the boss. So a great investment, right? Now, we talked about a buffer, and I also want to talk about some of the range, right? So having a sniper in your roster can be pretty beneficial. And unfortunately, the 3 snipers that you're almost guaranteed to get early on are going to be Certus, Kilandis, and Makotep. And none of them really have a good raid passive to utilize. But one character that you're going to be able to farm, and you need to farm because you need to unlock Fall of Cadia Mirror campaign, is going to be Thaddeus Noble, right? And Thaddeus Noble, not only does he hit like an absolute truck, and now mind you, I think I just showed you mine earlier here. You have my Thaddeus Noble, who hits for 1213 times 3, so you're already looking at 3600 plus buffs. His ability is great if you just let it ramp up, and then you can hit them with all 5, so that's going to be 10 times 1060, so absolute fucking devastation to somebody. But also has Spotter, and this is a buff for all of the people on your roster that have heavy weapon. And if you remember correctly, I talked about wanting Vindicta in your roster if you don't have another choice, or if you like the character. It's absolutely mental. Vindicta has heavy weapon. Or if you don't have Vindicta or don't want to use Vindicta, Certus also has heavy weapon. So when it comes down to your snipers, definitely, it's hard to say. I know some of the numbers are still coming out right now. Volk definitely has the beneficial range of 4, right? Whereas Immospec doesn't. So that's something else to keep in mind for your multi-hitters, and another reason that Volk is better. But when it comes down to your range, I'd probably say Dark Strider is up there now with the changes to Marker Light and the buff provided. Thaddeus Noble is probably still better than Dark Strider and way more easy to obtain. Then Certus because of the heavy weapon trait. Then it's going to be Kilandis because of the heavy weapon trait. And mind you, these two are probably interchangeable when it comes down to it. And then finally, Makotep just because he doesn't have the heavy weapon trait. And if you're not familiar with it, if you stand still, you get 25% extra damage on your next hit. So that definitely awesome. So we talked about your summoner tier. We talked about your buffer tier, right? We talked about your anti-psyker, and yes, if you can get one, cool. I was lucky enough on my alt account to be able to draw Wazwitha. Fantastic character. And mind you, this is not a concrete list. If you get something good, you think it can work in your roster, feel free to ask, feel free to experiment, right? There's some other snipers in here like Shosil who are absolutely really strong. Just a pain in the ass to get. Anshi, whenever you're able to do that legendary release event, absolutely strong. You have Helbrecht, who's a great buffer with Destroy the Witch. And even on Tyranids, you can bring something like T-Arc, which I think we just unlocked on the alt account, right? So there's options. But definitely with just these 10 characters, right? My brand new account, I can build up a really decent roster here once I get Eldreon. Without Eldreon, it's useless. I'm sorry. But Eldreon, I'd probably bring Bellator, Vindicta, Immospec, and at this rate, probably my Certus, because I'm going to be pumping more into my Certus or Calandus, right? Actually, yeah, probably Calandus, because Calandus also has uses in PvP. So that's beneficial, right? But I have things that I can farm and grow towards. I could start farming for my Thaddeus Noble as soon as I get that unlocked. And mind you, it's not far in. It's only Battle 45 of the Cadia campaign. And if I'm not mistaken, there's also new quests to help you catch up. So in my ult account right now, yeah, I've already got 33 Thaddeus shards. I should be farming it more, but I have other priorities, right? This account's not really a great example because we were lucky to get Roswitha and Volk, so there's things to keep in mind. But with that being said, always, if you have any questions, feel free to message me on Discord. Feel free to drop a comment below, and we'll get you sorted out. And don't forget, Mr. Timboykin, comment below, and I'll go ahead and message you on Discord, and we'll get that giveaway prize sorted. But with that being said, everybody, getting pretty close to our goal of 50 subscribers, so drop that and stay tuned for the next giveaway. Peace.